I've been looking at the great red letter passage of Jesus, recorded in Matthew 7, verses 21 through 23. And to me, this is just a fascinating section of three verses that can teach us so much about Jesus and about who's on the road to the kingdom of heaven. Because Jesus warns that there are going to be many who refer to him as Lord, but he will tell them, I never knew you, away from me, and he will send them out of heaven. And a recent survey by the Barna Group indicates that could be as many as 64% of Americans currently. And that brings up the question of why. Why would someone consider themselves a Christian, maybe for their whole lives, but not be on the way to heaven? And there's a lot of reasons for that, I believe. But I want to consider how Jesus describes the many in verse 22. He said that they will tell him, we did great things in your name. We prophesied, we drove out demons, and we performed miracles. But at the end of the passage, he will call them evildoers. So I believe that's a reflection of earlier in the Sermon on the Mount, at the beginning of chapter 6, where he describes people who will do acts of righteousness before other people in order to get the applause of the crowd. And he suggests that instead we should do those things in secret so that only God knows, and then God will reward us. But many people believe that in order to get to heaven, we've got to do more good things than bad. Even if it's 51% to 49%, that's good. And then if we do something spectacular like drive out a demon, well, that's kind of like extra credit. It's similar to getting a three-point shot in basketball. But Jesus is saying in this passage, there's so much more than that. It's not about doing what looks good. It's about loving God. It's about having that relationship. It's about, like Paul described at the end of 1 Corinthians chapter 2, about having the mind of Christ. So our thinking goes along with what Jesus wants. And that's the desire. That's the thing to seek for, is having the mind of Christ so that we end up loving him and knowing him.